Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Christopher Ray Patton. For anyone that has followed rap music for any period of time, especially in the 90s, you know what kind of stuff we were looking at, don't you? Does Bad Boy Records ring a bell to any of you kids out there? We don't want to talk about the guy that led that thing and all the crazy, wacky stuff he did after the fact. It's not funny. I'm not trying to make light of it. But going back to that era, we had a lot of glossy, polished production, shiny suits, lens flares, warped camera perspectives, and we were told, this is rap, guys. This is what it is, all right? And we're all like, well, I guess. Biggie's gone and Pac's gone, and I guess, but like, this is rap, guys. This is what it is. This is entertainment. This is hip-hop entertainment. Okay, I suppose. But then something big happened in 1998 that changed everything forever. 3 letters, one guy, DMX. We've talked about X here on the show before. This is not the first time. This definitely won't be the last. And we got a lot to get to. But suffice it to say, when DMX popped up in 98, baby, everything changed. And it never went back. Well, you could say it went back. But he did leave a lasting impression that no one else has ever been able to replicate and never will. And that is to say, you got all this glossy production, all this high-dollar videos and whatnot. And, after a while, it starts to feel like, these aren't real people. This sucks. Then you get X, and he is absolutely 1,000% real. We got a lot to get to here today. We've just basically grazed the surface of what this guy's accomplished. But today, we're going to hit his first album. Can't wait to talk about it. But before we get there, let's do this. It's Dark and Hell is Hot is the debut album by DMX. It was released on May 19th, 1998 through Def Jam Recordings and Ruff Ryders Entertainment. The album was executive produced by Irv Gotti and DMX, with core production handled by Swizz Beatz, Dame Grease, and PK, shaping a raw, minimalist, street-driven sound that defined late 90s hardcore rap. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling approximately 251,000 copies in its first week. You heard that right. This album has since been certified 4 times platinum by the RIAA, establishing DMX as one of the most dominant breakout artists in hip-hop history. The album is widely regarded for its dual identity, one side grounded in street aggression and survival, the other rooted in spiritual conflict, prayer, and an internal struggle. This is a tension that became central to DMX's legacy. And that is your lowdown on DMX, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Chris, you're a big DMX fan. I'm a big DMX fan as well. We got a lot to talk about here today. Again, you and I have barely just dipped our toes in the pool of this topic. But today we're going to talk about the guy's first album. I got a few years on you, but tell me about where you were when all this was happening. Were you too young to appreciate it? Did you come to his music later? When did this first start hitting you as a fan?
Well, this album drops in 98, right? So I am 10 years old at the time. But there is nowhere you could have been in 1998 and not heard stop, right. Drop. So it hit me right then. Actually, my sis, she's about 10 years older than me, and she worked at a CD warehouse and always had like a connection into like rap and hip hop and stuff. So like she was already like, hey, this DMX guy is pretty awesome. Right. And yeah, just from then. And I think when it really clicked with me was more like in middle school, really, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I definitely was aware of DMX in 98, 99. I guess it was kind of impossible not to be aware of this like phenomenon that's happening in the world of music, right? Like it was everywhere. You kind of brought this up in your intro, where there is this just huge hip hop vacuum that happens after Tupac
Yes.
and Biggie dies. And a lot of people could say maybe there was a bit of a reason for that, especially with like the kind of music Bad Boy was putting out with P. Diddy and Mace, et cetera, et cetera. There is that very polished, squeaky clean, look how much money we have kind of rap.
Yeah.
And DMX comes along and he's the exact opposite. And he'd had an album before that was shelved, that was supposed to come out on Columbia, that was shelved. So it's kind of like he had already struck out once, and he gets this chance. And actually, Puff Daddy had a chance to sign DMX, and famously did not. And one of the tracks on this album that we're going to get to later is kind of a shot at the entire rap industry and A&R labels. But yeah, it's a crazy time in music and something really weird to look back on. And if you kind of look at coming out of this, you had kind of three warring factions. Factions, maybe not the best term, but you had three artists to take the crown after Biggie dies, right? So you have Nas, you have DMX, and you have Jay-Z, and they're very, very different rappers.
Very different.
You have Nas, who is like almost like a Leonard Cohen poet to some extent, right? And then you have Jay-Z, who's very polished, very all about business, and the way he goes about, the way he writes tracks and stuff, it just sounds very polished, very about business. He has a very specific thing that he does very, very well. And then you have DMX, who just sounds like neither of them, in almost like a gospel evangelist, right? In the way that he talks about things. He's dropping like prayers. He's got these deep gospel roots, and then he's singing about like murdering entire families. It's just way different than the other three. So there was this shift of like, well, who's going to be the next big thing? And this album drops, and there was no question during this time period. Maybe there's a question you can go back later and be like, well, I actually like Nas a little better. Like Stillmatic slaps. And I agree, Stillmatic does slap. Illmatic slaps. I get it. But during 1998, no one felt that way.
Right. Yeah.
This man released 2 platinum albums in the same year. Like, that's crazy work.
That is crazy. Yeah.
And we talked about this when we did kind of just the broad overview of talking about DMX on the last time I was on. But I still haven't found anyone that's done that, except for I think the Beatles. Like across all music.
Across
like within
all music.
within 1 year, dropping 2 platinum albums.
It's insane. And his first, I keep wanting to say 4, but I think it's his first 5 all hit number 1, which we've documented here on the show. It's never been repeated. I don't think that it ever will be repeated, especially not now, the way music is absorbed, the way it's digested, streamers and whatnot. Like I saw something the other day of like the current top 10. Buddy, I didn't know of the 10, I didn't know 8 of them. I had no clue who they were. And every song sounded the same. Every song was identical. I mean, from male to female to whatever. And I'm like, what has happened to us? What happened to music? Like, oftentimes I wonder if X hit right now, how would the world take him? How would hip hop take him? How would rap take him? Like, would it still work? I mean, you would assume it would, because the guy was insanely talented, but how would it work now? Like, I don't know, man. What a time to be alive when this album came out, dude, and to see his rise.
It's like that, but also what would his sound be like? Who would be writing beats for him? Would it be more like trap music, honestly?
Yeah.
Would it be like more like Manny Fresh type beats versus what he was getting with Dame and Swiss?
True.
Because like if you think about it, the like music industry, like the way you go about writing a beat is completely different from like 98 to now.
Yeah.
Right. So that's interesting in itself, but like it's kind of crazy just that, like I said, like we were talking about with the vacuum, right? This big suction. You had Notorious B.I.G., who's this very calculated storyteller. You have Tupac Shakur, who is a very emotional, almost political, and also very performative, like in the way that I think the reason he works so well in movies is because that's like kind of a part of the gimmick, like just a big personality. We'll go with a big personality.
Yeah.
And you have that. And then coming out of that, you have DMX, and like the way his music comes off, it doesn't feel like a performance. It's like he's writing a biography that you get to listen to.
It's
Or
true.
something. Like
Yeah.
it's just a very different, you get like these very vulnerable lyrics, and then you get like this very almost mentally unstable version of the same character. And when we get into like Damien and stuff, you can see that. But I can guarantee you no other rapper was out here in 1998 talking about mental health, which DMX hits multiple times on this album. He talks about being bipolar in his lyrics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that like kind of vulnerability that gives you a little insight into who he is.
It does. And I think we said on that other episode that he's just real, and that's what sets him apart from everybody else. He's imperfect. He is, he's not a molded, shiny pot. He's a rough piece of clay. And I think he stayed that way his whole career. I don't recall there ever being a time when I'd listen to his music and go, "Oh, well, he figured it out. He's okay now." He never seemed okay. And it's not to say that every day was tough, that maybe he was in a bad place, like didn't want to be here anymore, like having dark thoughts, nothing like that. But, it never really felt like he really figured anything out. He was just doing the best he could, like we're all doing, which is one of the reasons why, like we said last time, he just felt like a real person. It wasn't polished. It wasn't, sorry to keep going back to this bad boy thing, but it wasn't shiny suits and glitter and fluorescent, and it wasn't the big spotlights and the videos. And dude, he would have been can you imagine if anyone had tried to shoehorn him into that? Fish out of water, man.
And I mean, over the years, people did try to do that with DMX
Uh-huh.
in different ways. Like they would offer him up like, hey, do you want to do a duet with Jennifer Lopez?
Right.
Oh, you can't do that? Well, I guess we'll get Ja Rule to do it.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. There was a lot of that, but that's the other thing about DMX is he wasn't a guy that needed a lot of people on his tracks ever.
Yeah.
Like he did some guest spots on other tracks, but that's also just a different thing about rap now, right? Like how many rappers just put out straight, like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, as far as just being a single solo artist that doesn't need like 6 or 7 other guest spots on their albums.
Yeah, it's true. Rod Wave does that as well. Like he'll have people occasionally, but most of it's just him, which is not quite the same genre. But it's no, you're right. And like a lot of those guys are just, there'll be 20 other artists on their album, and I'm like, I don't know if it's me. I'm not sharing songwriting credit with anybody if I don't, unless I have to. Like, I mean, I get my publishing. That's one thing I make sure of is, you know what I mean? That's where the money's at. Everybody knows that. So like, yeah, get your publishing early. So by the way, it's weird that I'm asking this because I've just not dove into the financial side. Did DMX take care of his stuff? Did he own it? I mean, did he have record disputes like Prince? Because honestly, I have no idea if he did.
Well, DMX's career as far as financials go is kind of all over the map because he also did like 3 movies.
True.
But he had that weird record deal with Columbia. They got shelved. And then there was like an open bidding war, kind of like the 50 Cent thing, right? Like where like a bunch of, and this is where it gets into Puff Daddy turned him down, didn't want to pay him the contract or whatever. And some of the brilliance of Irv Gotti, honestly, seeing that like this soft thing that we're doing in rap right now with like Mace and Puff Daddy wearing white suits, this isn't going to hold up. We need to get real, like making that like, so like, Irv gets him signed. I don't know what the contract looks like. I don't think that he owns, I know for a fact that his family does own some of his music because when he passed away, unfortunately, I tried to reach out to the label and his attorney at the time to get rights to use that one of his songs on Wrestling Geeks Alliance. And it was like, well, the family's not doing this right now. They're not letting anyone use the stuff because I wanted to clear that before posting because as a big fan of DMX, this time I tried to go through the appropriate channels.
Right. Yes.
and that got shot down. So I think there is some ownership rights there, but I don't know 100%. I mean, I know he did not end up with a lot of money towards the end of his career, which is talked about in the documentary that they've done on DMX. Now, some of that could have just been spending and recklessness or whatever, but yeah, I don't know like what his, as far as like how much he was getting per play or whatever.
Alimony too, I would guess, to some degree. Like 10 kids, is that right? Child support, maybe? Like he had a lot of kids, didn't he?
Yeah, I can only go off of that documentary as far as that goes. Like there's like, I think he had like 4 kids in that documentary, but he had been married multiple times. So
okay, well maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no, because just because that's the documentary doesn't mean that he didn't have more kids that weren't on that doc. You know what I mean? Like I don't know for sure.
Right. Makes you wonder if any of those kids came out with that voice. Can you imagine? Like you see some like rock guys and their kids grow up to be musicians and stuff, but like imagine like one of DMX's either son or daughter and just having that growl. Man, that'd be something to hear. I don't know.
It's also like kind of, and I would really recommend if for listeners out there to actually read the DMX biography if they get a chance. It's been years since I've read it, but it is a very interesting tale about his childhood, how he decided to become a hip hop artist and everything else after. But we're talking about a man that was arrested for stealing a car at an airport and trying to get crack cocaine towards the end of his career. So there was a lot of, so in that documentary that they did, there's a lot of his kids being like his kids in that documentary. They didn't have this relationship with him really. It's more about their relationship with their mother and how DMX is kind of like an absent father,
right?
In this big star, right? And then it goes back to DMX and he's explaining how he grew up and all the problems he's dealt with and trying not to be what made him the way he is. Essentially, it's a really interesting documentary. But once again, that's just like, that's part of DMX, right? That's the realism that you get out of these albums.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. He, kids, he was one of a kind. I mean, we spent that one episode talking, like we said, sort of an overview. There's still a whole lot more. We also did an episode when he passed, which was, again, a very brief glimpse of the guy. But here's what I'll tell you as we get into this album. DMX did something that really nobody else had done at the time. Like nobody in mainstream rap when he came out was openly wrestling with faith, violence, self-doubt, ego to a large degree, impatience maybe. I mean, just all these things that make a man, that make a person, like a person who's struggling is a lot of a struggle. The switching between prayer and aggression in the same breath. I mean, that contrast, it just makes him feel disruptive instead of just new, which is good because I think it's, when he showed up, it's like throwing a massive boulder into a pond because the ripple effect was felt forever and everybody had to take him seriously because they didn't have a choice. And like, I don't know, the entire scene, the entire genre had to recalibrate. And then you get people after the fact like Dime Store DMX, who you were just talking about. That's what he is. That's who he is to me, man. Ja Rule is Dime Store. Yes.
It's murder.
I'm saying, I know where that growl came from. I'm not dumb.
Well, there's also that goes back to the Puffy thing where Puffy didn't sign DMX. DMX blew up and he's like, well, I need a DMX.
Yeah.
But I want him to look cute.
Yes.
We'll get into that. That's a whole nother day of talking about Ja Rule and Murder Inc.
He's got to look cute and have a do-rag, and we got to make him, I don't want to comment too much. It's going to sound a certain kind of way, but yeah, polished. We got to make him, yeah, I don't know. It's
the craziest part about that as well is like, they get this guy, Ja Rule, he is doing DMX's style. Mm-hmm. And then they have DMX on a track with Ja Rule, in which you're like, it's very much like if you put like the Walmart soda and a regular Coke side by side.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like, can you taste the difference?
He's Shasta. Yeah. He's Shasta. That's what he is. Do you know Shasta? Do you have guys have Shasta in Georgia?
Yes. Um, but yeah, this is a very Sam's Choice thing. And then, like, I'm not out here just trying to bury Ja Rule.
I am.
He does that to himself enough without my help.
That's fair too.
But yeah, there is very much this weird thing because of the Puff Daddy contract situation where it's like, oh, he created Ja Rule to just try to get at DMX. And then right after this, because DMX releases 2 #1 albums in the same year,
Yeah.
Ja Rule's opening for him.
Yeah.
So it's it's kind of a crazy time in hip hop to think about in rap music in general. Like there's like Jay-Z's was out here kind of starting to build an empire, and then you have like DMX, who seems like in all of his tracks he's trying to just make it through a war.
Right, like, yes. Like Jay's smooth, and I love Jay, man. I'm a big Jay-Z guy, right? But he's very stylish and very smooth, and he really wanted to be the Frank Sinatra of rap. He really felt that's what he was becoming, and that's what he aspired to being, right? And then you got DMX out here screaming and growling, like, let's go to war, let's kill some people, let's do this, let's shoot them. Like he's just flat out, you know. You're right, he's very bombastic.
It's like it is almost like if you you know, like the alternate dimension things, and the alternate dimension DMX is Jay-Z and Jay-Z is DMX.
Right, yeah.
Like,
jeez,
you just gotta survive for this.
Hey, just to bring it full circle for you wrestling fans out there, here's what I'll tell you. When it comes to Ja Rule stuff, if you can't get the Road Warriors, then you create Demolition. Okay? I'm just calling it like I see it. All due respect to Demolition, but
That's
I know
Demolition, brother.
I'm just saying, I know a ripoff when I see it. And it wasn't their fault. They just went along with it. But, like, come on, guys. What are we doing?
What was the Sting and Ultimate Warrior team?
The Blade Runners.
Yeah. We'll say Ja Rule's more on the level of Blade Runners than...
I don't know. That's a lot of credit, man. Sting came out of that team. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do that.
Man, well, as a tag team.
As a tag team. Wasn't great. Yeah, wasn't great.
One part of that tag team was the Warriors.
Right. That's his part of the team. Kids, we've got 19 songs on this album, but we don't want to do a 3-hour podcast here today. So we're going to cover side 1 or side A, whichever you prefer to call it. So we're going to do the first 10 songs. So if you're looking at a copy in front of you that has more or less than 19, you may have to move some things around to keep up with us. But here we go, kids. Let's hit this. Track number 1 is just called Intro, and don't let that fool you. There is some talking at the beginning, but it leads into a pretty nice little track that doesn't last very long. Good little way to open. I think the first track is like 2 minutes, I believe. Actually, it's 4 minutes, but that's with everything combined. Not much to say about this first track here, Chris. What did you think about the way this album kicks off, especially for the debut album? Do you feel the first track really sets a tone or no?
It does, because you get to hear him speak, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a great beat on it, but it's not like an actual, what I would consider a track. It is more like the 90s rap thing of like, hey, we need some segments in the middle of this album.
Yeah. I never been
but
big
it does
on that.
Set what he is saying with his voice. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives you a great idea of what you're getting into for the rest of the album. This track could be deleted because the very next track would be an awesome opener by itself.
God, it so would. Yeah, this is not really an introduction, kids. It's more like a declaration of spiritual warfare. Like he's already in a conversation with God, setting up the central duality of this record, as we said before, kind of faith versus destruction. I mean, I may make it sound a lot more romantic than it is, because it is just him sort of talking and then we kick it off. But, you know, like you said, it's important because at least you hear his voice first thing with no music behind it. So you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. I'm not big for the skits on these rap albums, man. What's your thoughts on that? It just feels like filler to me for the most part.
I think it's just of its time. Like, I don't remember disliking it when something like this would come out. And I mean, it's not just DMX, like Ludacris and everybody had these skits. Ludacris has a really funny one on his first album about the door being kind of messed up. You know, have to come through the window. Talking about his project house.
Yeah.
like there was a bunch of stuff like that, like funny little like let's break it up, and I think it's kind of an interesting thing. Instead of just having a mid tier song, let's do a skit. Because there's something to be said.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a skit or would you rather have a bad song by that artist that's just thrown in there as like a, like, or like, you know what I mean? Like with like a wrestling show, for instance,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Here's our, we need to throw this match in here between these two big matches kind of thing. Would you rather have a skit or would you rather have like just a beat, what is like a seaside?
And I like that seaside. And I think it works for X on some of the albums when he's basically weaving like a narrative all the way through. Which Biggie did that, so I get it. A lot of times it does fit and make sense. There's just other moments when it's like, well, this didn't really fit with anything. But I guess at least I could say his X really did make an effort to kind of piece everything together, kind of like a puzzle, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's like the way they're placed on the album. Specifically, he's like famously known for his prayers, right? So he has all of these songs that are about these terrible atrocities in his life and his vulnerability, and then here's a prayer, and I'm trying to get a little better.
Right?
Like
yeah.
Like DMX never once in any song says that he's a good person or thinks he's a good person. It's just the end result is he's just trying to get a little better each day.
Again, like I said earlier, it never felt like he got it figured out. It was never, well, I'm good. I'm in a good place. I'm not effing up anymore. It's all good. Nope, that never happened. Like,
and I will say, like his live show, he also does the prayers between tracks,
interesting,
like the way on the album. So when I saw him at the Tabernacle here in Atlanta, he did 2 prayers, and it didn't feel out of place or weird or like random, and it was just kind of, and it was also really cool because the Tabernacle has like stained glass. It's kind of got this church feel to it, Tabernacle, right, as a name. But it did not feel out of place. It didn't feel forced in, and I think he does do a good job of weaving that. It gets a lot worse, like trick.com, like if you're listening to Trick Daddy's album and stuff and some of the skits on that, there's a lot worse out there.
Yeah.
As far as like, skits coming from, let's say 98 to we'll go up until like 2008. It kind of petered out after I got out of high school, but for a long time, every rapper did this.
Everyone. You're right. Yeah. Well, look, kids, we're going to move on to track 2 because this is Ruff Ryders Anthem. I mean, we could either talk a lot about this or not say anything, and it stands. This is Swiss Beats is producer on this. This is an original composition. There's no sample involved in this that I'm aware of, and it's just, think about this as like identity through reduction. It's intentionally stripped down. DMX, he's the entire rhythm. He is the entire song, and it's less music and more of just him and the Ruff Ryders movement and the idea behind it. Dude, I can't envision this guy's career without this song. I mean, Party Up, I get it, and they're commercially successful, and that's not even on this album, right? Like, and I get what that did for him. But at the same time, like, without this song, man, it's not the same career, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I think credit goes to Swiss Beats on this song, honestly, because I've heard multiple interviews with DMX where he talks about he wrote it in 15 minutes. He didn't like the beat. He thought it was very repetitive. He compared it to reciting his ABCs with what he did on the track. And he wrote that song in 15 minutes, and he also wrote F***ing with D and Let 'Em Fly.
Yeah.
In the same night. But out of those tracks, he specifically is like, it's one of those things where you write something and you don't like it, but everyone else does. And you're like, well, I'm glad it means something to people.
Sure.
This is the way that he talks about it. And man, did it mean something to people. Yeah, that the 99 Woodstock of him playing
Woodstock.
A mosh pit opens up to stop.
Right. Yeah.
Drop. I think this song is maybe one of the most important rap songs of all time, and I don't say that lightly. I do think it had that much of a cultural shift, what rap could have been if this song doesn't come out. Like, how many more Mace tracks do you want to hear?
Not really.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, we could have had a very different, and if DMX doesn't make this album, you're going to miss out on bands like, you know, you're going to miss out on like 3-6 Mafia. You're going to miss out on Juvenile. You're going to miss out on like, you know, Cash Money, all of Cash Money, and anything Master P was involved in, because DMX proved that you could kind of have that kind of voice and be a little grittier and have some edge to you in a time period where they were trying to push so hard, specifically Bad Boy was trying to push so hard to get closer to a cleaner image to sell to a certain community after, you know, East Coast versus West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So like in that sense, this song is like immensely important.
I agree with that. And man, I'm going to keep deferring to you on a lot of this stuff. Because I got to ask you this, like in terms of that East Coast, West Coast stuff, X never really got into that, did he? Like Ruff Ryders,
Well,
yeah.
Not, I mean, Pac and Biggie, once Pac and Biggie died.
Yeah.
And, you know, Suge had gotten shot in the Pac shooting and then had court cases and all sorts of other things that, you know, went on for a while outside of that. But I mean, it kind of just died off when the two leaders died off.
That's fair. Yeah.
Right. Like, and to be fair, honestly, West Coast rap in the late 90s had died off after Tupac died.
That's true.
Because, like, can you think of and you can't just say like Snoop or Dre, right? Like a new rapper from like what, 98 from the West Coast?
I can't think it. To be fair, at any given time, I was rap and hip hop adjacent, and it wasn't all I listened to. But honestly, I can't think of anybody. So yeah.
And the other crazy part about that is, like, I guess Tupac was adopted West Coast because like he spent a lot of his time here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So South's got something to say.
Yeah. Right.
But no, I'm just in any case, I feel like that squashed with that, you know, when they died. I don't think anybody was really gearing up for the East Coast versus West Coast thing. And that's how you get this like very polished Puff Daddy. Well, yeah. And I mean, that says a lot in itself, because there are still people that I kind of joined the conspiracy theory on this with. That man might have had a lot to do with both of those deaths.
Right.
But yeah, you get this very different thing. Like, I mean, you're talking about like Bad Boy doing, you know, Music Ward, all white suits, playing off of Biggie's death and like rapping over a police track during this time period.
Yeah.
You're talking about Big Willie Styles about to drop by Will Smith. Like, this is the level of things that were coming out. And I'm not saying that was the only rap that was out there. There was lots of hip hop artists that were out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know if Irv Gotti and Swiss Beats and DMX, if they don't get together on this album, the landscape of hip hop would be very bleak. For at least for my time growing up, it would have been very, very bad.
No,
like I
totally
would not
agree.
have gotten like T.I. or like trap music definitely would have never became a thing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like it making money off his death too. Like, it's so weird. I remember seeing an old clip of Marilyn Manson at the time, and he was saying that, you know, he's a very well spoken guy, whatever people want to say about him. And I get it. There's stuff you can say, but like at the time, he's like, you know, it seems to me that he generally misses his friend. And that's what a lot of the raps are about. He's really grieving. He's like, but at the same time, he's kind of really making money off this. And I'm like, yep, you called it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a call a spade kind of thing.
That's fair.
Like, this man did not even wait like months to do that.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing this song. The funniest thing about that track in general is that the absurd amount of money that he has to pay to Sting after that lawsuit. It's like it's something ridiculous royalty wise. Like, I don't know the exact numbers off my head, but it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, if Puff Daddy stays in jail and can't make music anymore or money, he's definitely going bankrupt just off that usage of that song without permission. But yeah, it was just such a weird thing. And like, he's got Biggie's wife on stage with. It's just a whole
So weird. And
nightmare
then
in itself.
and Sting ends up performing the song with him on stage. I remember that happened. He was actually there. I guess for the MTV thing.
What do you think Sting's paycheck looked like for that?
Oh man. I mean, I'm
Because he
sure that.
obviously was not okay with it, with the lawsuit. Him and Stuart Copeland sued the hell out of him.
Well, they should. I'm sorry, but like, you know, and kids, there's something to be said for sometimes things out of reach of the common person. I get it. Like back in the day, especially when all we had were CDs and albums, and maybe you didn't have the money, and then the streaming thing happened, and people are like, hey, I know it's illegal, but I can't afford an album. I can't, I don't have the means to whatever. Like there is such a thing as these guys have more money than they maybe need. But at the same time, man, I will always side with the creator. Don't steal my work. Don't steal my work. I worked hard on this. Like I should get paid for this. This is my stuff. You didn't write this, I wrote it. That kind of thing. So
I mean, there's a lot of rap that, will sample something and expand upon it and make it different.
sure.
This is not an example of that, though.
No.
It is literally just every breath you take.
Yes.
With a worse verse.
Yeah.
Like that. It is literally the same song. There's some changed lyrics, but like they just do that chorus for forever, and then they have the gospel tune. And then Puffy doing Puffy, he should never rap anyway. Puffy is like one of the worst rappers of all time.
Horrible. Yeah.
Kinda high were you not around? I knew you in heaven, smiling down.
Oh God, stop. Yeah. I mean, you're better than he is. You're better than he is, but like it's still bad. No, and by the way, to the backwoods hillbilly rapper out there that calls himself a rapper, it's sad but true. That's all you did. You just took sad but true and you rapped over it. It's not your song. Get the F out of here. Anyway, I got thoughts. But
I haven't heard that. You have to send me that later after
you
this.
know that song. You know that he did sad but true, and he just rapped over top of it. That's all it was. And couldn't
Imagine if you were gonna rip off a Metallica song, that's the one you choose.
and didn't even remember he shouted out all these bands that influenced him in the song, and didn't even shout out Metallica. I'm like, what are we doing here?
I honestly don't know this track at all.
Yes, you do. It's Kid Rock. I didn't want to name it.
Oh, okay. No, I really don't.
You do know it. It's what is
wasn't off his first album with Bull God and Ball with the Ball, I probably didn't hear it.
No, it wasn't off that one. It was later. Pretty sure.
Actually, I take that back. That's not his first album. He has another album before that is more of a rap album that sounds kind of more like an ICP album. It's got the song called Stone Cold Pimp on it, or Stone Cold White Pimp on it.
It's American Bad A that Taker used. It's that song. It's sad but true. Yeah.
You mean when they took like a good fit with Taker with Rollin' by Limp Bizkit and they didn't want to pay the rights to it, so they just were like, hey, Kid Rock, can you give us a song? I
am not a Limp Bizkit fan ever, but that song totally fit him at the time. At the time it fit. So I got a sidetrack talking about the backwoods hillbilly rapper I didn't feel like talking about, so my apologies.
It's just weird to call him a backwoods hillbilly. We're both from the South. He's from like Detroit, Michigan, and his dad owned like car dealerships, so it's just weird to be like backwoods hillbilly. I was thinking like, it's like he's like talking about Jelly Roll or something.
Hey man, hey look, white trash is in
Bubba Sparks.
White trash is in every city in the country, baby, and he is white trash if he's nothing. So
yeah, I mean, you said backwoods though. I was thinking like he's talking about some rapper from Alabama.
He is to me. He is to me. I don't look. You hear how I sound when I talk. I would never call myself backwoods, but I call him that. Backwoods, maybe in the way he thinks. Possibly that's a lot of what I'm saying. So
what a weird Hulk Hogan gimmick that man has put himself in.
Smack dab. Just couldn't get any deeper if he wanted to. Just couldn't get any deeper.
Being like, I'm a privileged white kid that's kind of like Vanilla Ice. To like, I'm a little hood and I hang out with people. To I'm a rap rocker. To I'm just like full on MAGA now.
Yeah,
my bad guys. Like the trajectory of that man's career,
right?
Could be studied by colleges for here to infinity. Of
if you can stand to listen to him, that's the key.
It's just such a very Hulk Hogan type thing where you're doing it for the business, brother.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. Well, back to a real rap artist here. So no, I couldn't imagine again X without Ruff Ryders Anthem. But I will say this: track 3, effing with I'll call it effing with D. I think I may like it more than I like Ruff Ryders Anthem, man. I really
I
like this,
think
man. It cooks, you know.
I think everyone that's listened to this album would agree with you. Like I feel like they're excited when they hear Ruff Ryders Anthem, but you hear some other songs on this album, and you're like, man, this song is really slap.
Yeah, dude.
Like, this is a great out. This is a great song, and it's like I was talking about earlier. It's him kind of calling out A&R and the rap industry in general, and not getting a chance, and it's incredible.
Yeah. It's only 2 minutes, 19 seconds, so it gets in and gets out, but it's good. Dame Grease is producer on this. Shifting Gears by Johnny Hammond is the sample,
Dame
too.
kills the production on this, and the sample is great too. There is a lot of samples on this album, by the way.
Yeah.
But they're done very well. They're not done like every breath.
Don't get me in trouble.
I had to bring it back. They can't get you for 4 seconds. I'm trying to get you that Puff Daddy lawsuit.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. They put that, I guess they're doing a double track on his voice, it sounds like. I mean, take this guy's voice, which is already highly effective and wonderful, and then you do a double track of it, and it sounds like you got 2 monsters under the bed coming to get you. Like, it's just great. It's so good. You know what I mean?
100%. Dame should get so much more love than he does. Like, you know, like Dre gets love for how great his beats are and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Dame should get production. Like all of the beats on this album are incredible. They're in their own weird way. You know, like I like Dame doesn't get enough love. In fact, most people know Dame because he gets kind of shot down by Nas and Ether.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what that guy's up to now.
Are you Dame Daddy or Dame Diddy? Oh, I get it. You Biggie and he's Puffy.
Nah.
He's from Ether.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like Dame doesn't get enough love for these 2 DMX albums because he's all over all of these tracks and is the head producer. And there are some great samples and some stuff like, I mean, there's a Bee Gees sample on this album. A DMX album has a Bee Gees sample on it. Like, put those 2 things in your mind and shake it around.
Yeah, because I mean, the beat can really come from anywhere, and it's just more about the hook, right? It's just more about what can I do with this? Like, you know, you called X like the most metal rapper of all time. I don't think anybody else even comes close. Like, maybe there is, and I'm not thinking of it. I mean, Public Enemy on stage with Anthrax is pretty freaking metal, but like, other than that,
see, I kind of take them out though because that is it's same thing with Ice-T because Ice-T has a metal band.
That's fair, yeah.
Right. So like, if you're playing with a metal band, I was like, well, yeah. Well, if DMX played with Pantera, I'm sure that'd be like metal as hell.
Yeah.
The only things I would say trap music like Top Back by T.I., for instance, I would say is pretty metal. Like any of like New Orleans rap, like in let's say 99 2000, it kind of gets there. Like Juvenile, for instance, I think he has that kind of swagger and the things that he's rapping about, it's kind of heavy. But DMX is the only one that's out here with the lyrics that only DMX could write.
Yeah.
In fact, like if you switch lyrics between like DMX and Glenn Danzig, they would fit over each other's songs. You know, like, is he writing a horror punk song or is he writing a rap song?
I like that. Man, that's a crossover we needed and never got. Can you imagine? Jeez.
Yeah, and Glenn Danzig is also a great songwriter. He did some stuff for Johnny Cash and those American recordings, and he's a surprising guy sometimes, that Glenn Danzig.
I like him a lot, man. I always have. I dig that band for sure.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Tom Clark's main event, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and 2 Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
We're going from track 3 to track 4, kids. This is The Storm. This is a skit. And it's just a very quick, I think it's a minute long. And it's just like, it just functions as environmental storytelling, reinforcing chaos as the album's baseline condition, which it absolutely is. But I mean, it's fine. It fits, I guess. It's not really, I don't know that it's doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I do like the carryover of the vocals and the beat into the next song, though. Like they connect together. They could have just made it one track, but it's like, oh, technically it's a separate track. But there's a lot of that with DMX's skits where they do connect together pretty well.
Yeah.
I will say Look Through My Eyes is not one of the best songs on this side going into track 5 here. Because there is just so many heavy hitters.
True.
On this side. And Look Through My Eyes is fine, but it's like, we got Get At Me Dog, Let Me Fly, and X Is Coming, and Damien after that track.
That's true.
Those are all hard bangers.
Well, I do like this though. It maybe is a bit too early on the album to slow it down, but it's fine. Like, because he does pick it up. This is the first time we get the bark, I think. Isn't it the first time we get him growling like a dog? It might be the first bark we get on the first of many to come.
I mean, Ruff Ryders Anthem, he talks about, bark very little, but the dog's gonna bite.
Yeah.
So you get you're getting the dog already at the beginning of this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this might be the first like guttural.
I do like this track though, man. This is never a skip for me. I really like this one. It's like it's an inward pivot. He's shifting from like aggression to sort of explanation. It kind of sounds like a confession more than anything, which a lot of his stuff really does. Like he's coming to, without getting hokey, he's coming to the altar. You know what I mean? He's confessing today. It's what he's got to say. I like it though. And plus it establishes the what, that he used a lot in the background of his songs, man, which it's hard to imagine a DMX song without that what being said in the background too, because it kind of became his trademark.
He used it so much that Stone Cold was like, I need to do that. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it definitely does become a thing. Like and especially like that Woodstock video that we were talking about at the beginning with Ruff Ryders Anthem, it's already there in that live performance.
Yeah.
And you can tell that when he does it, it's not just like I'm doing it for sound. Like Lil Jon does like, what? Okay. For sound to fill out the track. But like when he's doing it, it's like a call and response thing to the crowd. Yeah. And as we're talking about these skits and the way these songs flow together, it's like if DMX was white with an acoustic guitar, he'd be considered one of the greatest folk writers of all time.
Oh, interesting.
Because like think about it, like I mean the songs would be very different, but like I don't think they would be crazily different in 1998. Who else was out here writing folk in 98? We got Ryan Adams, Counting Crows, Matchbox 20.
Ugh, that's pop. That ain't folk.
Hey, they would argue that with you though.
And I like, Rob Thomas. I actually like his voice. I never disliked. I think I got their first CD. I like the band. It's just, I don't know. That's a whole other conversation. After a while, it just felt more commercial than anything.
That was kind of the point. Is like, what else was across all of music? What else was out here being as honest as this album during that time period, 98? I'm sure like NoFX had an album. Some punk bands had I'm sure there's stuff out there, but like as far as like chart stuff, like things that were on a chart, what was out there that was as honest and feels as real as this album?
I don't know of anything at the time that that even came close. And there's good reason for that, because again, no one, you can duplicate to a point. You can try to duplicate to a point, but at some level you can't. He's the only one living his own experience in the way he's living it. And so when you bring that to the table, it's like it's a weird thing to throw in, but when one of Kevin Smith's biggest things has always been, no one can tell your story. Only you can, because it's your story. So tell your story, whatever that story is, and people will connect with it. You'll hit somebody on some level that will understand what you're saying. And even if 20 people don't, one person will. And then you're building an audience at that point, which maybe is what happened with this guy. Like for as many teenagers who were headbanging in the audience and loving the beats, how many out there were going, man, he's saying exactly what I'm thinking right now. Do you know?
I feel like a lot more people than you would think. As far as like the connection, because the connection's not all just like growing up in Yonkers. You know, there's a deeper, with DMX at least, it's not just like, hey, I grew up in the hood and this sucked. There's deeper connections, because he talks about like he goes into like mental health and like having like all of these other aggression issues and stuff, and issues with his parents and or not lack of a dad. He knew his dad. Read the biography. It's really, really crazy about the story about his dad being a painter, and the one or two times he saw him over like 6 years, crazy work. And like growing up with the projects and stuff. And it's like, a lot of white kids had divorced parents or had no, like, so there's I think there's a connection that can go across any culture.
Sure.
There, and DMX is kind of giving it to you, not to, X is going to give it to you, but it does have like, that's where it kind of is different. Like the relation and the way he talks about what he's going through, the struggle he's going through. It's not specific to any one place or time period, really. I think it could go across. I think anyone could feel it if they really listen to the lyrics.
I think you made this point in the other episode, is that a lot of rap especially can cross over to white kids. Because like from a distance you go, oh, great, privileged white kids in the audience. That's wonderful. What a thing to see. But like, can't speak for all white people, but like a lot of this does, like, and if you grew up poor, man, a lot of this stuff does speak to you. And like, I can't sit here and say I grew up around violence. I did not. I was very fortunate. I did not grow up around people who were trying to hurt me, or I was in an environment where I had to actively be afraid for my own welfare. Nothing like that. But I did grow up poor. So I know that part of it. I knew what it was like to grow up to be wearing hand-me-down clothes and shoes, and, not knowing how I'm going to get a notebook for the school year because it was going to be tough. Like, I know that life. That sucks. So, like, it does translate, man, to a large degree.
Yeah, growing up poor is the great equalizer of color, race, religious beliefs, because poor is still poor.
Yeah.
So you can always find something in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think DMX kind of stretches across that. And I think a lot of, like, when we're talking about like Woodstock, for instance, with all of those people, I think it's very easy to think that, like, look at all these privileged white people, right? And it's like, well, some of those people probably saved money for like a year to go do that.
That's true. Yeah.
And got blessed with a very terrible situation.
Yeah.
Not the day that DMX played, but going forward after that.
Yeah.
It got really bad. They had a really bad time. So like it's kind of easy to just look at it out of context and stereotype it to some extent.
Sure.
But yeah, like there's a lot of people in that crowd that felt what he was saying. You can tell based on the reactions.
Yeah. No kidding.
And if you want an example of not connecting with it, you can watch Jules' performance from that same festival.
Man, talk about someone that I can't speak for anybody else, never felt authentic to me. Like, and then you see her afterward when she tried to sell more records, and suddenly she's wearing a lot of makeup and it's very sleek video, and you're like, oh God, they got to her, didn't they? They got to her. They said, hey Jewel, this is fun and all, but you gotta start, how about undoing that button on your shirt there and put this makeup on? Like, I'm like, oh, not you too. Did you do this too? Oh man. Crazy.
Yeah, she is she's kind of wild in general, but also, just so people aren't going to be like, oh, he's just going to name the one female artist. Brian Setzer had like one of the worst sets I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
And he is a phenomenal musician.
He's great. Yeah.
There was a couple of other ones, like they were so against Bush at first until and which was a huge band at the time. There was a lot of things that just didn't connect with that crowd. They were there to hear DMX and Limp Bizkit and Korn. They really did not care about the rest of it, I guess. But yeah, that whole vibe is so weird. But I will say, like, the DMX performance kind of shows this connection that I think a lot of people wouldn't believe if you were just talking about it passively, right? Like having this, but 40,000 people singing Ruff Ryders Anthem.
Yeah.
And like, not even a full year after it came out, like, is crazy.
Yeah.
And the reaction to it is crazy. It's so wild that it's like, because it's people that's probably never been to a hip hop show before or a rap show before. They don't know what to do. They're just like, I guess we mosh because you know what I mean? It's like, this slaps and I need to feel it, right? Like, I need to feel it in my body.
It's the only thing I know how to do. It's the only frame of reference we got. Let's just do this.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. DMX, like I said, I think he crosses all sides with music, and his lyrics are obviously, they can get kind of out there and wild sometimes, but that's part of the mystique of Dark Man X, Damien himself. The dog man. We'll get there in a minute. We go from Look Through My Eyes at track number 5, 3 minutes 50 seconds, to Get At Me Dog. This has got Chic Louch on it, 4 minutes 3 seconds. You could maybe say, and maybe is not the word, I guess you can say this is like the breakthrough commercial moment for him. It's freestyle. It becomes like the record that introduces him nationally without sort of, diluting or degrading his aggression. The sample on here is Everything Good to You by BT Express. I mean, this is a big one too. It's got that sound of, like, I want to say like a 70s detective show. So sort of got that beat to it, and it just sounds gritty is the word that I use for this song. Like, but this is a classic song too, man. It's got to be one of the most classic on this album, doesn't it? I would agree with you. I think this is a very important song off this album. Definitely gritty. Gritty is a good way to put this song. I mean, like, and you get kind of the first "Get At Me Dog" ever, which he did through the rest of his career on albums. It's so good. It's way better than Look Through My Eyes. it's a great track. I mean, it really is. And like I said, like, nothing against Look Through My Eyes. It's a fine track. But we get At Me Dog, Let Me Fly, X Is Coming, and Damien all in a row, and how's it going down, which is we're gonna get there. But you get what I'm saying? Like, this track just got, like, Look Through My Eyes. You're like, well, the next like 5 are so good, like, right? Some of the best rap songs ever written come bang, 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 bang in a row. Yeah, I mean, it's again, to me, when I think about him, this is one of the songs I often think about because it's just got him all over it. Again, I don't think anybody else can do this song. This is just purely him at this point. How do you even cover this song unless you're just doing it out of respect and you're paying tribute? But I don't know, man. It'd be tough, Challenge accepted, Tom. It wouldn't be the first DMX song I've covered. No, I get completely what you're saying. Like, I don't know that there is anyone else that, like, Get At Me Dog in general with DMX's voice is going to be forever legendary to DMX. Yeah. It's part of the character, the gimmick, the whole nine. I hate to call it a gimmick, but to some extent, there is a little bit of DMX. It's kind of a gimmick, right? You know what I mean? I think he's real in his lyrics and like what he's saying and what he's feeling, but there is also like the dark man gimmick. Absolutely. Yeah. A little bit of a character, I think, to some degree. And I'm sure the character became the man at some point. You probably couldn't tell the two apart, as often happens here. But like, it's the idea of, you got to put it on. You got to, like, there's a story out there and I cannot recall who it is I'm thinking of, but that the guy I think it's like very much like the Stone Cold Steve Austin is just you turned up to 11. Sure.
Yeah.
right? Kind of thing. Like and this is me, but also turned up to 11. An
Yeah.
Undertaker, the devil, etc.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I can feel that. And honestly, like again, I don't know who else could do this. It's very signature him. It's very much his tune. It's very much, and something that maybe we're not. I mean, I think we have to this point on this review, but like maybe people don't really realize is that with the first album, we didn't know any of this yet. Like this was still brand new. Didn't know who this guy was, and he's barking and growling like a dog. And like you get used to that later, but at first you're like, well, this is different. I never heard anything like this before. And like, is this a character? Is he real or whatever? And then he just keeps going. And then by the end of the album, you're like, all right, well, this feels like a real guy to me. He's kind of established who he is, but like this is the first time we really heard him using these words, heard him at all. And then, as we said later on, it becomes sort of his entire identity at that point. It's interesting.
Yeah, like outside of New York, no one would have known what this guy sounds like, looks like, talks like,
Sure.
barks like. Uh, so the first taste for most people would have been Ruff Ryders Anthem.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, and then you just get an onslaught of this man's kind of wild.
He is. Yeah, for sure.
I was just listening to my 8-Ball CD, and then someone turned me on to this DMX. It's wild.
Right, yeah. Well, the ebb and flow of this album, like he does in several different places on different albums, where he'll go from like sort of the highs and lows. Like we go from this, which is again, it's a banger, as the kids say, and they really go after it. And again, it's all him. Then you go to Let Me Fly, track number 7, which is 4 minutes, 12 seconds. And not as much of a go get 'em kind of song, but man, this is so freaking good. And his voice is doing something a little bit different here than it was doing in the other tracks. The growl's not really here that much. Like it's him sort of being, I'll say, soulful more than anything else. So he's kind of showing a little bit more, inflection to his voice, a little bit more than what we saw on the first several tracks here, man.
Yeah, for sure. You're getting him actually singing. You're getting a vocal performance on a very, very deep track with Let Me Fly. I love Let Me Fly.
It's good.
I think it might be, to me, it's probably my second favorite song on this album. It's just a beautiful song.
It is.
In his vocal, like the emotion in his vocals, like the even let me fly or give me the kind of gospel thing once again that comes through when he does that, I think just adds so much impact. It's such a good tune.
It really is. Dame is the producer on this one again. There's no sample that I'm sure there's sample. I don't know what it is. It's not officially credited, I don't believe. And this one is just, think of it as ambition framed as necessity, not aspiration. And he treats like elevation as pressure, not success, which makes sense because the best artists, are not flaunting money, are not flaunting the shiny suits. Got to keep going back to that. Like with fame comes a tremendous amount of pressure, and you're either going to wave money in people's face or you're going to struggle with it. Like every time Tupac had a handful of money, smiling and showing it to the camera, I often thought, this is the same guy they call a poet, and he's out here flashing money because he's rich. And then you're like, but was that really him? Or was that a character where he felt the need to flex on camera to his boys? Was that what that was? Because sometimes I wonder if that's what was going on with him, man.
That in itself is kind of its own weird topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's part of the reason like DMX and Nas are so openly loved and accepted by their community is because they never did that.
Yeah.
Right. Like I never look how much money I have now kind of thing. I mean, and once again, not to bring up Ether again, but he says, you ran to my crib and I can give you my number, talking about the hood. Like DMX and Nas were very grounded in who they were as people. They didn't feel the need to like feel flashy where a lot of people did. And Either Let Me Fly is like kind of crazy because it's like trying to get yourself out of a bad situation, right? The lyrics are literally, either let me fly, let me be better than I currently am, let me have a better situation, or give me death.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. I'm
If
going to
I
die
can't
anyway.
make it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It like when you start breaking some of these DMX songs down line by line, especially the deeper ones, right? They have a lot of weight to them.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna, we've talked about a lot of other artists here, so I'm gonna try not to do that when I say this. But you said the word gimmick. Like sometimes the death thing feels like a gimmick. Well, I gotta say this, and I'm gonna talk. Never felt to me like it was a gimmick. The whole death aspect. I feel like he was very, maybe not concerned about it, but it was never not on his mind, the dying part. You know what I mean? Like he was always confronting it all the time. And that, maybe I'm wrong, but it never felt like I got to sell some records. I got to talk about death. It never felt like that with him.
No, and I mean, in Let Me Fly, for instance, it's more of like, I'd rather kill myself than be where I'm at.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like worried about death, like it's creeping around the corner, someone's going to shoot me, etc. It's literally like, if I don't get myself out of the situation I'm in and better myself, right, I would rather be dead. Which is a complete different thing than just talking about death. Like, oh, I might get shot tomorrow kind of thing, which is kind of common in the couple years before this with West Coast versus East Coast rap.
Mm-hmm.
I think when DMX is talking about it, it's more of an inner struggle because it would go against him to be like, oh, somebody might clip me tomorrow, because when he does do when he does do albums, when he does do those kind of tracks, it's always like everyone else in this entire world should be worried about me.
Right.
I'm a threat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird one, but I get what you're saying. There is definitely this gimmick of like, I could get got tomorrow and pass away and be gone. That was a thing during this time period. But I think with Let Me Fly, it's more about like just trying to escape a struggle, trying to better yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't, why am I even here?
Yeah.
Give me death. Let me follow my own sword kind of thing.
Yeah. Ooh. It's heavy stuff, man. Billboard top 2. I mean, it's heavy stuff. #1 album in the world. I mean, it's pretty heavy, man. But again, he didn't run from it. So, look, we got to go to X is Coming. And this is track number 8. 4 minutes, 18 seconds. So far, this is the most cinematic song on the record. Would you agree with that? Like, it just feels like a movie score to me here.
I mean, it 100% is. You're not a big horror movie fan. It is utilizing, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah.
With X, and the lyrics are so like X-rated. Is the like the lyrics of this song are don't play it with the children in the car as their first DMX experience. Is, I mean, like I said, it starts out with 1, 2, X is coming for you, 3, 4, better lock the door. This song has, I think this song has lyrics that would make War blush. Like,
yeah.
In it, like, this is complete different DMX turned up to 9,000. He is Michael Myers in the song. He is your worst nightmare as someone you might meet at night.
Yeah, we talked about character earlier. This doesn't feel like a real guy here. This feels like a character in a movie. This absolutely feels like I got to let people know I'm building this character. So like this, maybe this answers what we were talking about earlier. Is it a real guy? Is it a character? It can be both and still work. And I think that's what he's doing here with this one.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, there's so many. I'm trying, because we try not to use a lot of bad words on this song or on the show, but this is a hard one to talk about without getting very descriptive about some of the things that DMX says in it.
Yeah. Well, if you got lyrics in front of you, what do you got? Because it's intense, like you said.
I mean, X is coming for you. Can't do nothing for you. X is coming for you. Run, hide, duck. We don't give a.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm coming in the house and I'm gunning for the spouse. trying to send that B word back to her maker. And if you got a daughter older than 14, I'm going to take her.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, he is an absolute menace in this song.
He is.
As far as the song goes, I don't know that DMX ever did any of that in real life. But as a horror character that leads into the next song, which is Damien, and if you put these two songs back to back, it kind of makes a little more sense of why that song exists. But this is a very once again, DMX, the most metal of all time, as far as rappers go. I don't know that anyone's ever touched anything like that lyrically.
And you know, maybe the interview does exist, and I just haven't seen it. But like, if you could talk to the guy, like today, if he was still with us, one of the things I'd like to ask specifically about this song, and straight face, and hopefully not get laughed off the podcast, is I would ask him, where were you going with this? What do these lyrics mean? Did it mean what you meant, what you said? Did it mean something else? Was it a metaphor? I mean, it does sound like a metaphor to me. It sounds pretty intense. Like, it's not a I got you moment and I want you to admit to saying something terrible. But I'd like to know what was your frame of mind when you wrote this song? Because I really have no idea.
I said what I was feeling at the time. Hey, yo.
It's very intense, man. You know what I mean? Very intense.
It is very intense, and there's a couple of songs, like there's an interview where he's talking about this album, and I think I sent it to you before this, but he says sometimes people want to feel worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't always want to feel better. Like however the F you feel, there should be a song that helps you feel that way, that you can just drive to and feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
Because who the hell wants to feel happy all the time?
Ooh.
And if that's anger or disappointment or sadness, there should be a song for it. So maybe that's insight for it. Maybe he was just really angry that day.
Maybe so, yeah.
I think he would also hit you with, well, like if you're trying to take money out my mouth or, food out my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes you wonder. Like, again, with some lines you understand. A lot of it's macho flexing, and it's, I got to sound a certain kind of way maybe because this is what people, of course, at the time, no one expected anything of them. It's the first album. So like you could argue that that's not in play here, but like, again, some of those lyrics, man, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, this song is a like serial killer level of
that's true
murder. This is not like I'm gonna run up and spray your house with a Uzi or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of like this is a different level of even things that we would have been used to circa 96, 97 with gangster rap, right? Like, and like there was a lot of like, I might come by and pop a shot or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like that's not what DMX was doing
And
in this song. Like,
maybe that's the answer. Maybe the answer from him would have been, hey man, it's a song. It's just a character. It's not me. I would never do those things, but like it's the character that I wrote for the song. And you know what? To me, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, maybe that's the key too here, man, is like sometimes it's a little bit harder to distinguish, well, this song is a story versus an actual movie. When you go to a movie, it's a movie. It's not real. When you hear an artist sing a song or rap a song, maybe the first inclination is go, well, that's how he feels. Well, maybe, but maybe he's just writing a story in a song. Maybe that's what the truth is here.
yeah, and if it was like a metal song, you wouldn't think twice about it.
Sure, that's well said. Yeah.
It's that is a rap song, and that's usually based on real life experiences, especially the type of rap he does that is different. So like even, I feel like that he would kayfabe the hell out of you, Tom, and be like, who says I hadn't done that?
You don't know me.
Because he gives us the answer in the next song.
Yeah.
Which is Damien, and it's the thought process of these things.
Yeah.
So it's this little demon on his shoulder telling him to do these terrible things. So we just have to assume X is not coming for us unless he loses this battle with the devil.
Yeah, Damien is the next song, kids, and it's you talk about a horror movie kind of song, man. 3 minutes 42 seconds, and it's a very like the devil on his shoulder, I guess you could say, kind of thing. Maybe a split personality kind of thing. And the way this song ends, it's maybe I'm thinking about the next song, but Damien is just like, again, does that let him off the hook? Maybe is that what the thought was here? Is like, this is the devil on my shoulder. That wasn't me in the other song. This is what this really is. I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think putting them back to back was very intentional. I don't know that a lot of people would get that, but I think it was very intentional of like that all of those terrible things that I said I did is because of the devil, or it did really happen.
Right.
Also, can we talk about the chorus of this song just being one of the best choruses of all time?
Yeah, right.
It's so good. The snake, the rat, the cat, the dog. How you gonna see him if you living in the fog, in the fog, in the fog? So good.
It's great, man. Yeah. And it's something else I would say he's probably known for that too, that just that one rhyme by itself. Yeah.
And he's doing both voices in this one.
He is, yeah.
Later
creepy.
on, you get Marilyn Manson on a Damien track. Speaking of Marilyn, he brought him up earlier. But yeah, in this one, he is doing both of the voices, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that sort of that other persona kind of idea. I'm kind of here for that.
Like the only other rap song I can think of that does that is that, and it's not even the same thing because it's Dre and Eminem talking to someone else. But I can't think of another song where they're having this inner monologue within themselves through a full rap verse. Like he's changing characters mid-verse.
He is.
In this song.
Yeah.
And he does it when he does it live. When I saw him live, he did this song and did the whole gimmick. It's kind of crazy.
Wow. Did he like change his mannerisms and stuff when he did those parts or no?
I don't know that he like did anything like it's physically look differently, but he pitched the voice and did the thing and still was able to do this. Like,
that's fun.
Hey OD, what up, D? You smooth. Seen you when nobody know who pulled the trigger. You know it's always over dough. You sure? I could have swore it was over a hoe. Nah, that ain't my style.
Yeah, the voice, the Damien voice we're talking about, kids. This is like it becomes like externalizes temptation itself. So it sort of turns like the morality that he has into a dialogue with himself, which I think we've all probably of any song we could relate to as people. This is probably one where in your head you're thinking, should I? Nah, maybe I shouldn't do this. Should I say this? Man, maybe I shouldn't say that. Like I can relate to that. The sample on this is "Slow Dance" by Stanley Clark, which we may not have seen coming.
Which is incredible, by the way. Stanley Clark's incredible.
Right.
To piggyback on what you just said, though, Damien in this situation also knows all your deepest, darkest secrets. He's like, are you sure? Because you're saying it's over dough that you shot that guy, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Can't lie to me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can't lie to me.
So there's kind of that cool element to it, too.
I got to say, listening to it now for the first time in a while, it makes me wonder, did anyone when they first heard this go, is this supposed to be funny? What is this? Like, if you heard this out of context.
Called the cops.
Yeah. If you heard this out of context with the rest of the album, would you go, is this a joke track? What's he doing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird track. And the fact that there's 3 of Damien's. It's across the first 3 albums.
Yeah.
There's a Damien across all 3 albums. And then one with like Marilyn Manson and DMX like on a track together is kind of wild. Marilyn's like, the snake, the rat.
Yeah.
This is like a really weird thing. I don't like that version of Damien personally.
Yeah.
I want DMX doing it, but the fact that it exists is wild.
Right.
In a world where like this is like post Columbine, there's a lot of people that are worried about Marilyn Manson making their kids, shooters.
Yeah, yeah.
DMX, hey, let's put him on my album and he can be the devil for real.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just such a weird.
Yeah, it's such a
very
weird thing.
DMX thing.
Well, I mean, as somebody that grew up in the 80s, like, I saw the rap guys, they were going to court over this. I think was it Judas Priest or Iron Maiden that was in court? I can't remember now. They're sitting there playing the records backwards, and you could tell the band is doing the best they can to not go, oh, screw this, and getting up and walking out because they're like, why are we here? Why are we here right now? Like, God, man, it's so dumb. Let's pin the horrible things in society on this album. Well, Okay, but I don't know. Personal responsibility goes a long way here. I mean, and that's another discussion for another time in terms of, can you influence people? You absolutely can influence people. Can you influence someone that's vulnerable and at an age where they can be affected and be persuaded? Well, if you couldn't, cults wouldn't be a thing. So yeah, cults are very real. Could I imagine an album? Sure, I can imagine that. But at the same time, to say, well, then the album has to go, let's censor it. Yeah, but one person out of, the 500,000 copies that album sold, one person did harm. Is it okay? What are we talking about then? Do you know what I mean? What is this?
Yeah. I just wish, the thought process of that, where that stuff went to court and people were blaming like music artists there, and if they heard these last two tracks we're talking about,
Right.
they would be like, oh man, I guess Poison wasn't as bad as we thought they were.
Freaking Poison.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like they're talking about some kind of soft 80s metal when all that stuff was around.
Yeah.
DMX did, or not DMX, but Marilyn did catch a lot of that in the 90s.
He did,
and I think he's a very well-spoken person. I think he's kind of a scumbag, but he is a very well-spoken person when he talks about this stuff. And he's like, you don't have to let your kids listen to my music.
Yeah. It's your call. Yeah.
To be fair.
It's the old thing of like, well, if your kid is teenager, he's going to have sex. Well, that's not true. Well, they're going to. No, they're going to drink. No, they're not. What are you talking about? And it's like, well, they're going to listen. They don't not necessarily know. Are you asking them what they're listening to? You're asking them if they're doing these things. Why don't you get involved? Why don't you ask questions of your kid? Find out what they're listening to. I don't know. Seems easy to me.
And if they are going to do those things, maybe have those conversations of the way to do it properly, specifically the sex one.
100%.
Like, even if you don't trust your kid enough to be like, he's eventually going to have sex, right?
Sure.
Maybe have that conversation. I had that conversation very early on in my upbringing, because my mom had me when she was 16. So this is a very common conversation of like,
yeah,
you're probably going to go out and do this. Make sure you wrap it before you tap it.
I've never heard that said in my life. That's interesting.
But what's crazy is we just got these two, like, we get one complete horror movie of a song.
Yeah.
We get Damien, which is this weird track, like, about you not wanting to be this person anymore. And the devil's like, yeah, but I already gave you all these things, so you owe me now.
Right.
And then it goes into How's It Going Down with R&B legend Faith Evans.
Yeah, and the intro of it, pretty harsh. 4 minutes, 42 seconds. The intro is very harsh, actually. So, yeah. It's intense.
People out there, go read the intro to that. We'll skip over it. But
I'm not repeating it.
It is essentially what is happening in the intro of this song. He knows that the girl that he is dating is cheating on him.
Yes.
And he says it in a very, very foul way.
Yes. Whose body are you enjoying, my dear? That's basically what he says. Tom Clark's 6M podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark's 6M podcast sent you. Dame is the producer on this. God Make Me Funky by the Headhunters is the sample on this song.
Which is like the craziest thing ever, because I had never heard that song until I heard this song and had to go and look up who they were. And that's on me, because that's a great band, but I just didn't like, this is one of those ones where the sample brings you back to the original band. Yeah. At least it did for me.
Yeah, it's a emotional contrast track here for sure. For the first time, X steps fully into relational vulnerability without abandoning identity. So that's a good point. Like he really does keeps himself, he keeps the character, but at the same time, it's you're introducing a woman into the mix and about how the character reacts and things like that. So, um, you know, we kind of ventured way off topic on a lot of these things, but I do feel like a lot of what we ventured off topic with are related. And this is related as well. For people who don't get rap and who don't like it to this day, who say that rap is the worst music of all time, the things they can't get over are how women are talked about. And I'm thinking, but you're a white guy. Yeah, and I'm not trying to make a weird statement, but like if unless you grow up in certain environments, maybe it's not yours to understand. Like if you're offended by it, I guess I can understand that bit. Especially if you're female, you're offended by it, I can get that. But I bet there's plenty of black women who maybe are not offended, and maybe some women who aren't offended at all because they can separate, hey, this is just a song. This is not necessarily what this guy believed or what he actually carried out in his own life. But like the fact that X is putting that in here to the point that he's putting it in, that's to me, Chris, that's one of those things you kind of balance with this guy. He was imperfect. There's stuff in his lyrics that makes you maybe raises the hairs on the back of your neck sometimes. But I think it was just all of who he was as a person too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's giving you a little bit of an insight into who he was as a person and being very imperfect.
Sure.
And that he admits multiple times on every one of his albums, right?
Mhm.
Like he's once again, DMX has never said that he was a good person,
Right.
right? So at least if you're going to be honest and upfront about your views, etc., and how you talk to ladies, it's not that crazy. But to be fair, this song is not the worst of those.
Oh no.
During
No.
this time period.
That's very true.
So
By the way, what's your
the
thoughts on this
intro
song?
is a little the intro is a little harsh.
Yeah.
I love it. He has this line in the song is like, looking at Shorty makes me want to do something nice. Looking at her ass makes me want to do something tonight. Which is and I'm not DMX, but the way he delivers it is just so genuine and kind of funny, but cheeky. Like cheeky, I guess is the term.
Right.
And also the chorus just sounds so good. Like DMX, his rap chorus where he does like the sing rap is some of the best of all time. What type of games are being played? How's it going down? So good.
And this one's got kind of a different vibe too. You could say it's more like I forget which song I said it was kind of very soulful to me, but like this one sounds more like R&B than anything else I've heard so far from him here, which is cool. So,
I mean, he also has like another great line in this where he's talking about the girl he's in the song, the girl that he is having these relations with, her baby daddy coming up to him, right?
yeah.
And he says, I ain't gonna send him on his way. Put him up in that big caddy. On the strength of you, well, that's your kid's daddy. I ain't gonna send him on his way up in that big caddy.
Right, yeah.
Like letting her know that, like, hey, I could just cap this guy. You didn't hear the last 2 tracks off this album. And then it proceeds with him being like, take the snow up to 150 and see Joe. Like, so he has her running cocaine for him. It's just it's DMX.
Yeah.
It's the things that make DMX interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, like these tales. It's like this man sat down with a pen and a pad and came out with this. Right?
Yeah. Wow. And that's the stuff that will absolutely blow your mind. I'm sure that you've done this yourself. But like Hey Jude at one point was not a thing. Let It Be was not a thing. It didn't exist. Like, Inner Sandman didn't exist. Wasn't a thing. Like, and then it existed. I know it's weird comparisons to make, but like, X Gonna Give It To You didn't exist. It wasn't there. And then it existed because one guy wrote it. That is mind blowing to me. Like the things that you've heard for years, maybe your whole life, it's like the core, it's at the core of who you are. At one point was never here until one guy sat down with a pen and paper. That is mind blowing to me, man. That's art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to think about how some of these songs have gotten written and what that process was like. And
yeah.
it is mind blowing. He also has, if you you loved it, let it go, and if it comes back, how strong it was in this song as well, which he uses later on in a different song on a different album, but it sticks with him. And you know, there's a lot of like he's saying a lot of negative things, but he's also having this relationship with a mother of two.
Yeah.
And they're in a situation where he's having to sling drugs, and it's kind of if you look at it a little, if you look at it below, like a little below the surface of just like these lyrics are kind of messed up. I can't believe anyone was allowed to say this.
Right.
If you look at it a little bit below there and you think of it like a movie, like something you'd watch, I don't think it would be as offensive to a lot of people.
Sure. Yeah. Kids, we told you was only going to do the first side. So I'm calling them sides. I don't think that was actually split. It's just a full album, but we're calling it that. First 10 tracks. Let me ask you this. If the album ended here, what would you think if this was what we got?
If the album ended here, it would still be the best rap album of 1998.
There you go.
I mean, outside of the other album he releases later this year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, we would be missing out on Stop Being Greedy, which would be very sad.
Sure.
That's what I would say to that.
Great song. Oh man, great song. Can't wait till we get there. Yeah, man.
We'd also miss out on all of the locks on the very last track on the side. So you guys stick around for that one, because that's also really cool.
That's very true. Yeah. 10 songs, and we talked about all 10 of them here. And I mean, we still got 9 more to go for the first album. It's amazing, man. Debut. We talked about debut albums here before, like Van Halen's first album, this album, you know, many other debut albums that you point to and go, I cannot believe that this band, like Zeppelin, bands you maybe hadn't heard of or that came out of the blue, and you're like, God, where did this come from? How did this happen? Like, unbelievable, man. Just unbelievable what this guy was capable, what he's capable of and what he accomplished. And I was going to say the word short amount of time. It really was a short amount of time, wasn't it? Between his first album and his last one? I don't think it was that many years.
To his last one, I guess. Yeah, I would say that was kind of I mean, like 10 years for it. Like he had 5 #1 albums
He did.
in a very short time span and did 3 movies. So, because he was in Belly, he was in Romeo Must Die. He was in, there's another one too that has Steven Seagal in it that I'm blanking on.
Yeah.
And was queued up to be the Crow. There's a whole script with DMX written as the Crow, by the way, which I wish would have gotten made during this time period.
Can you imagine?
I don't know what that record label did to him to make him put out the amount of content as fast as he did.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy. And that's if you look at like 50 Cent has talked about this, because he had the big part of the reason with the open signing and stuff is he's like, most rappers, when they sign a contract, even if they write something in where their crew gets signed as well, they're going to force you to do like 3 solo albums before you ever get to like, for 50, it would be G Unit. For like Nelly, for instance, it would be Saint Lunatics, etc. And he's like, and they burn you out, and you're only doing that specific style, and you don't get to grow as a musician. Like you don't get you don't even get to grow based on the other things that are coming out, because you just have to keep putting stuff out. So like famously, when he wouldn't sign with anyone and he ended up signing with Dre and Eminem specifically, he had written something in his contract when he signed with them that he would do 2 solo albums and then a G Unit album and then do his whatever his next album was.
Wow.
So like it's DMX is kind of interesting in that sense, where it's incredible that someone could have 2 #1 albums in rap in the same year. Like that's an incredible feat. But then the expectations of that, the touring and everything that comes along with having that amount of success, you know, like these albums came out very quickly. Like 98, we get 2, and then we get and then there was X, which had Party Up in Here on it, and then you get Grand Champion in like 2003.
Yeah, yeah.
So like there was like barely any breathing room on this, and it
5
wasn't like
years.
he also wasn't touring. You know what I mean? Like it's
Sure.
kind of a crazy feat. So yeah, I think there is something to be said to what 50 was saying in that interview. It's like, well, you don't even have time to listen to what anyone else is doing at that point, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like, or what the vibe of music looks like and how you could change your direction and do something different. So it's very interesting. Also, in this next section of the album, we have some very, very, very big names
Mm, we
for
do.
samples. We got Diana Ross, Phil Collins, the Bee Gees, and Marvin Gaye.
Crazy.
And the best cover of In the Air Tonight I've ever heard is coming on that next track. So people should stick around for that, for the B-side.
Yeah, man. B-side will be
Or
fun.
side B.
Yeah. That's fair. Yes, it'll be fun. Well, kids, as we said, this is his first album. There's a lot more to go. And I think eventually we're going to review every album he did, his first 5, and go from there. And it may take us a minute to get there, but we'll get there eventually. But be on the lookout for the rest of this one. And instead of doing like a last word here, Chris, what do you think about these 10 as we head out going into side 2? Which side is your favorite? Let's put it that way. Side 2, maybe?
If we end at How's It Going Down, we got How's It Going Down, Let Me Fly, and Ruff Ryders Anthem and FM with D. I'd probably Damien X is coming for. I would say side 1.
Yeah.
If we're gonna split it like 10 to, because there's 19 songs, so if we split it at 10, I would say side 1. Side 2 probably has one of my favorite tracks on the entire album, which is Stop Being Greedy, which we'll get into next time. But as far as like if you're splitting it, because also one of the songs on side 2 is a prayer, so it's like a 3-minute prayer. And you have the I Can Feel It Coming in the Air Tonight cover there. For My Dogs is in there though, which is kind of a sad song. Yeah, there's a shift from How's It Going Down going forward to the rest of what the album is, and that's how I would have split it up if I was putting it on a vinyl. If we did have a side 1, side 2, I would have probably split it up at How's It Going Down, and then coming the Mickey skit at 11, and go forward from there. But yeah, it's I mean, side 1 is one of the most iconic 10 rap tracks ever put out, and very, very important for the music industry at the time.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, again, I can't imagine rap without this guy. Can't imagine rap without this album. I mean, just for everything that it accomplished, and again, in the short amount of time that he accomplished it, is just insane to me. Kids, we said on the other episode, we talked about X, that this is there'll never be another one, and you know, we should be so lucky as to get someone who is inspired by X, who will one day come out and, you know, break his own new, or her break their own new ground in the genre. That'd be fun to see, but there will never be another DMX. But at least we've got the catalog, we got the music to enjoy, we got the legacy he left behind. So that's a fun thing. And we're always going to talk about it here on the show. If you guys can't figure out, we are definitely fans of X, and happy to talk about his albums here. So kids, stay tuned for more. Let me know what you would like to hear us talk about. You know how you can get a hold of us. Just hit us. You can hit us on YouTube in the comments section. You can also go to boinkstudios.com. Check out all of our content. Remember, nothing's behind a paywall. We've got content dating back to 2014, not just music. We've got pro wrestling. We've got Stephen King novels. We've got sports. We've got movies and streamers and comic books, and you name it, we cover it. A lot of content there for you kids. So if you will, take time out of your day to go subscribe, like, and follow, and all that good stuff. And again, as we said before, come back for side 2, side B of this great album, and we'll wrap that up and then press on to the next topic at hand. But until then, that is DMX. It's dark and hell is hot. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at 6M Podcasts. We'll see you next time.